FlyQuest. First off, Moon, I want to go back into the game for a second. Game 1, you guys were down. It was actually 0 turrets to 8 at one point, and then you guys came back. And so you've played in the LCS for a little while now. You've actually played over a year worth of games. What has been the biggest difference playing on FlyQuest from behind from the teams that you've been on previously?
Playing one behind on FlyQuest is so nice because High just knows like what to do, or like everything, like the smallest details to make sure you're minimizing what you're losing, or to try to get like a random kill somewhere or something like that. Even in scrims, it's really nice. Compared to NRG, like we didn't have everyone in English, so this is obviously like an insane difference.
And you guys seem to have some really great synergy on that team. There's been some memes popping up about High Moon synergy going on in that mid jungle. What have been your thoughts on the attention that you've been getting as a player, and also your overall performance this split?
I think me and High have good synergy because in scrims we just suicide together. in scrims we'll both be like 0-5, and it's like, wow, nice. It's like, oh, Moon, don't worry, I'm 0-5 too. Like, or Moon, don't worry, I have more deaths than you. In scrims we just kind of test our limits a lot, and I think on stage like we're really smart, so it works out.
That's awesome to hear about. But you guys are going to be going up against Cloud9 looking forward tomorrow. So I want to ask you about that matchup because you weren't really involved in the history, but your team has been. The preparation, what would walking away with a win mean for you and the team?
I'm excited because there's like, I feel like there's not much pressure for me, but I feel like for everybody else, there's going to be a shit ton of pressure. So I'm excited to like perform and just like shit on everyone, I guess. We'll see. We'll see. I think it should be a really good close series. We're both really good. I think we're both 6-1 now. So hoping for 3 games, exciting games.
They haven't lost yet, actually. They're
still, haven't lost.
Yeah. Didn't lose. Right. So going in against the undefeated team. But also, final question here, jungler that you'll be going up against, Contracts. Last time you played Contracts, you actually lost 2-3 Challenger Series finals, and you guys didn't end up walking away with the win there. So what are your thoughts on Contracts, his rookie split, and also that matchup you'll be having against him?
Contracts is playing super well. C9, he has a lot of veterans and stuff. I played with Impact personally. I know he's like a super good teammate. The thing is, when I lost to him in Challenger, we picked Rammus support by accident. That won't happen again, so we should win.
All right, thank you very much, Moon. Congratulations. Good luck tomorrow as well. And now we're going to throw it over to the desk to close that one out.
Thank you very much, Irene. But what if they did pick Rammus support?
I mean,
and beat C9 tomorrow?
Yeah, FlyQuest is crazy in their draft.
I don't think that would be one heck of a way to get.
He's better talk to Lemon real quick. Be like, it didn't work out. It was against Lemon, too.
All right, well, in all seriousness, Moon right there has had a stellar season. It will be a very exciting matchup tomorrow. Let's work our way towards that matchup, though, and close out this one against P1. A much more dominant game 2 here makes FlyQuest look very good moving into tomorrow's game. For Phoenix 1, though, a little bit of a bummer here to take such a hard loss after a game 1 that really should have gone in their favor.
Right, and especially it feels weird where like FlyQuest is able to first pick the Jace and then swap it mid very early in the draft, not even like waiting to see where they're going to flex it, and they just have this blind Jace mid that doesn't get exploited super hard. And it feels like FlyQuest is one of the few teams that when you pick something, they're ready to crush you with some kind of crazy counter pick, and you just don't see that out of other teams. And so whenever a Jace gets flexed really early in the mid lane and there's nothing prepared, other than, just take the Corki and try and gank it with Elise. That's not quite the same level.
And funnily enough, the strategies going into this game almost flip-flopped, where we had Phoenix 1 putting a lot of attention into the mid lane and keeping High down, because as we've seen, when High is allowed to roam free and affect other lanes, that can really be the catalyst for FlyQuest to get ahead. This time around, though, it was more the story of Moon and what he was doing while High was being focused, and we saw it here very early on, 10:30 into the game, 3 for 1 for FlyQuest. High is going to get soloed out kind of off on the left side of the screen, but the rest of FlyQuest is making big plays.
Right, I mean, you see High getting collapsed on here. There's a ton of jungle attention given to him. On the flip side, Elimination looks like he's caught out in the bot river. It's a trap, though. Nidalee comes flying in, able to start cleaning up kills. Both top laners TP down. You get into this 5v5, basically, where, once again, you see FlyQuest always on the same page, it seems like, collapsing onto the correct targets and able to pick up a lot of kills. So there's this kind of narrative that you have where, oh, you got to control High. He's the shot caller. He's the playmaker on the team. Focus mid. Saw tons of Elise pressure early, and it didn't matter. Moon just did his own thing. I think the idea that, High controls Moon in the early game is probably not that true. People always talked really high about Moon's intelligence in game and how much he knows. There was just the problem of translating it to stage, and I think he is translating now, and it's not just because High tells what to do.
Right, and he picks up player of the game, Moon, that is, for his performance here on Nidalee. And really, this player, I mean, 6-1-5 here, but he has blown my mind this split with his, whether it's his growth or his confidence. I'm not exactly sure why it is that he's come into his own here and struggled on past teams. Maybe it is the confidence boost that High allows him to have and the freedom that he now feels to make the plays he wants to make, but he is succeeding.
Yeah, it's crazy to see the growth out of this guy because, you know, energy didn't look that great. The small, brief period of time in Team Liquid didn't look that great. Team Liquid Academy looked better, but, you know, you're against lesser competition in the Challenger Series, so it's you know, how can he hold up when he finally moves back into the big leagues? And it's just incredible, and it's one of the best stories, I think, going in this season.
Doing well so far, and so is FlyQuest as a team. Beginning of the day, we were asking, will they have what it takes to stack up against the other teams in the top 4? Phoenix 1 being the first of those 3 tests. Well, a 2-0 victory here, one game winning from behind, the other one being dominant from the beginning. That's going to be 2 good ways to win, in a sense, in terms of building your confidence and showing that you can take down these top teams. But that's just step 1 of 3.
Well, it's a great step 1 because if you think about it, I think in a lot of people's heads, it's C9, because TSM lost to them, and then TSM beats P1, so TSM's probably the second place team, and P1's probably the third, with FlyQuest somewhere in that mix. And now we see their first test against the third place team, they beat it. Now, their next test against the first place team, they're skipping TSM, trying to move up one more. So I think Sunday's match is going to be amazing to watch.
Well, okay, so let's just briefly talk about it then. Based on what you saw out of FlyQuest today, do they have what it takes to push what seems to be a very consistent C9? And that's the thing for me, is that C9 never looks, you know, unfazed. That they are always cool, calm, and collected, especially when Impact is in the game in the top lane.
I assume they're going to start with Impact in this series. They don't have as much breathing room against FlyQuest. What's really interesting to me is the fact that Contracts and Jensen really heavily favor the mid lane, and that's where a lot of stuff happens. And we saw in this series, P1 tried to target High really heavily, and Moon was just left free to run around and make his own plays. So I think, even though I favor C9, just generally watching them play, I think there's 2 things that go really well for FlyQuest, where 1, it doesn't seem like High needs to smash his lane individually to make a lot of plays for his team. And 2, they have this really weird draft style and play style that no one else in the league has, and while C9 is probably the best standard team in the league, they're going up against the best, you know, unorthodox team. So I think just in that way, it's a great matchup.
Yeah, FlyQuest moving to 6-1. They'll challenge C9 undefeated tomorrow. We've got more league action coming your way, though, today. Team Liquid hit the Rift next as they go up against Immortals. We'll be right back.
I like the movie. You like the move it.
We like the move it.
You like to
Move it.
right? Perfect.
Wolf needs to look for another route.
Nice
Good
route.
stun there into Inori.
Fine.
Spear lands, and that's going to be a kill. Outside collects the next one, and FlyQuest again up 3-1, nice and early. Arrow low, flushes out of the way. High wants it, but Outside flushes in for the auto attack. Lockdown is High, still fighting. A double kill for Outside as it just opens up. Ryu, he wants it, he's going to get it, but he gets himself killed. And Inori skitters away towards his turret, eats a spear. Tried to kind of outplay that one, and Moon just was in. Good snare, but Moon killed him instead. Buffers it through. Arrow able to get the shutdown. Snipes him down, but High's going to live, and now Outside flashes forward, snipes Arrow in the backline. Balls forces them back to that fountain. Turrets are just going to melt, and FlyQuest take one of the most decisive games of this spring.